So let us expand a little bit on this analogy that we were talking in part number 4 about human beings and computers. They're pretty much the same. It's my theory. Um, human body comes with all these parts installed, pre-built in, eyes, nose, ear, tongue, hands, legs, and then these are the external parts, and then we have the internal parts, heart, lungs, stomach, intestine, penis and vagina, and bum, and these are the internal parts. And then all these parts, they have systems that make use of these parts and um, do some work for us. And the genuine parts, so let's resemble it to the computer. In the computer you have some very basic, but most the parts without which a computer can't run. Like the first thing is the processor, and then you have a motherboard. On this motherboard you have different hardware installed, the most important one is in desktops, it is the graphic display processor. Very much research going on, graphic display to make it as real as possible. And then we have inputs, and then communications, and then in communications it's wired communication and wireless communication. All these parts come into built, most of the parts built into the computer. And then in terms of the quality of the parts, the genuine parts are matchless. You can't, in terms of a human body, if you want to replace a part that is damaged by some accident or some disease, it's never gonna be the same as you had from the factory, from your mother's womb. And the same thing is with the computers. If you get a computer that comes with all these parts, and if some of the part gets damaged, the chances are you're not gonna get the same performance as you were getting. But in some cases there are exceptions. But in human body, that's a guarantee. You're not gonna have something functioning aesthetically looking and physically functioning the same. For example, remember the movie with the fish trainer, the whale trainer, training whale on a loud music. The whale gets out of order, jumps into and eats her legs, and then she spends her life on artificial legs, just metal sticks functioning like legs. She could walk with easily using stretches, but they're not legs. They are just something to aid her to be legs, to walk and stuff. Same thing is if you can't hear properly due to some whatever the reason is, you get hearing aids. You can't see, you get eyesight aid, glasses and everything, but they're not the same as the original part. This was just a little bit about hardware, and let's talk about software. In software, we have built-in software. We come into this world with built-in software, the software that is able to function our body, to communicate within our body, and we act accordingly. And then there's the same thing is with the computers. We have softwares that are pre-installed in the computer that are minimum requirement for the computer to work. And then some software that we just fancy out of our need, or out of our desire, or out of our anything we just fancy, and we want to get that software. And it's the same thing in both computers. I like to have Adobe Photoshop. I don't really need it to run the computer, but because I like editing photos and make them more beautiful, or I like movie maker because I want to make movies, or I like MATLAB because I'm an engineer, or I like Simulink because I want to do simulations, or I like Microsoft Office package, or I like some database packages, or like I like some programming, sophisticated programming packages, or I just like all these things. So what I do, I go, I buy them, I install them, and I make use of them. And then what happens is my computer becomes value added, so it has more value than the similar computer but without these softwares. And same thing with the human body. My daughter, she got hit by a boy at her private part, so her mom decided to get her trained a karate training so she can defend herself. Same thing like we do in the computer security. We have these softwares. For example, I use Kaspersky. It's a very, very good software. I never had any bugs or anything, and it's free for Barclay customers as well. A tip for you for the day. And then these are security things that we want to add, so we learn different skills. We want to make more money, so we learn more skills. Some of us wanted to be engineer, to work top posh jobs. Some of us wanted to be doctors. There are different motivations, but we add value to ourselves. And then as a doctor, I have more value than a normal person in the society. I can make more money, I can be more helpful, I can save lives. As an engineer, again, I can add value to the society because myself is being added value. And then when you have softwares, and then you have bugs as well. It's a computer system. You have these bugs. Like the biggest bug is this theory of Darwin's theory of evolution, that the man just came out of nowhere. That's a bug. That is bugging the entire humanity in such a ruthless way that we can't even think the way we're going to end with this bug and what we're going to pay for just because of this bug. So we have in the computer system, we have all these bugs. How do we get these bugs? Because, well, that is a debate. How we get these bugs? Because we expose our computer to different things. We open an email, there's an attachment. Oh yes, there might be something really nice in it. As soon as we open the attachment, all our files are gone, or maybe there is some installation has taken place that is actually taking the computer beyond our control. And the same thing happens as a human being. Rather than just putting our head down and spending our lives the way we have been asked, we just decide to free ourselves from all these things around us, and we want to be a free person, and we want to live a free life. I want to do whatever I want, the way I want. I want to live with a boy, no problem. I want to eat anything, no problem. So we get bugs. So this is like a punishment of doing going beyond your limits. So we get these bugs, but then when we get bugs, we get solutions, we get fixes as well. Like this video, there might be a fixing to this bug of um, Darwin's theory of evolution. So we get all these fixes, and pretty much is the same in terms of a computer and a human being. And if we can try, at least if we can try to understand the similarity, because it's easy for a human being to think of a computer and then he can say, yeah, how well a computer can work, and then he can think the same thing of himself. He can avoid the things that computers are a victim of, and then he can save himself from different things. Okay, thank you for now.